Hello and welcome. This is Professor Xiaoma. Welcome to the homework assistance videos. This is rather a tutorial video to go through the common uses of the Jupyter Notebook. You will use Jupyter Notebook for your homework, and you will turn in the Jupyter Notebook as part of your homework submission. Also, you can use Jupyter Notebook to practice the hands-on exercises. As part of the beginning preparation for this course, you will install Python and Jupyter Notebook on your own machine. I hope everybody has done that. Besides that option, there are also alternative online Jupyter Notebook servers available, and here is one example. It is very easy to use. You can even use it without signing up, but you will lose your work. Okay, now let's begin playing with the Jupyter Notebook. As I emphasized in another video, you need to launch Jupyter Notebook from your command or from your terminal if you use MacBook every time you want to work on Jupyter Notebook. You cannot simply double-click the Jupyter Notebook file. It won't work. Now let's launch Jupyter Notebook. In command prompt window, you will type in Jupyter Notebook. The first time that you launch your Jupyter Notebook, you will see an empty page. There is no content in it. To create a new notebook, simply go to New, click Python 3. To rename this new notebook, currently the title is untitled. You would simply click the title area and replace with the name that you want to name it. And click Rename. To do a lot of the things in Jupyter Notebook, feel free to use the user interface here. You have menus to click. Virtually anything that you want to use for the first time working in Jupyter Notebook, you can find it in the drop-down menus here. You can insert a cell below or insert a cell above. You can run a cell. Let's type in something to run. And with this cell selected, you can click Run, and this cell is run. Over time, you will find that you use some operations very often, so it's a good idea to be familiar with the keyboard shortcuts. You can use your arrow key to go up and down to navigate through the cells, but only when the cell outline is blue. That means this is the command mode. To start editing a cell, simply click Enter. Now the cell outline becomes green and there's a cursor inside the cell. Now you can start editing the cells. Simply click Escape key, ESC, to go to command mode again. Just now I used the Run button to run this cell. Now I'm going to use a shortcut. You can either use Control plus Enter or Shift plus Enter to run this cell. I'm using Shift plus Enter. Now the cell is run and it's printing Python is so fun. Now, it's always a good idea to often explicitly save the Jupyter Notebook so that no accidental loss of work will happen. Now, the shortcut to save Jupyter Notebook is the same with the shortcut to save a Word document. It's Control S. When you are in the command mode, simply click A to add a new cell above it. To add a cell below it, simply click B. When you are in the editing mode, and after you have edited the cell, if you want to go back, simply click Ctrl Z. Now the cell will go back to the previous step. When you are editing a cell and you decide that you want to delete the entire line, there's a shortcut to do that. Move the cursor to the line that you want to delete and simply click Ctrl D, and the line is gone. To undo the delete and go back, simply click Ctrl Z. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about markdown cells. Markdown cells are used for text only, and you can format them very nicely. Now you may ask, why do I use a markdown cell if I can comment the lines in the code cells? Well, even if you can comment the code cells, you cannot format them. Markdowns are particularly useful for taking notes, for highlighting important information, and to simply record your ideas to revisit. To edit a markdown cell, you first need to convert a code cell to a markdown cell. When a cell is highlighted, you can use the drop-down menu to change it to markdown. After changing it to markdown, the inline symbol will be gone, which indicates that this is a markdown cell. Markdown cell also has two modes. When you are editing markdown cell, it is showing green, and you can start type the texts and use Control-Enter or Shift-Enter to run the markdown cell. After running it, it will be formatted. It looks like a line of text. After running the markdown cell, it looks as though it cannot be edited. To start editing it again, you can simply double-click it, or you can simply click Enter key. It will go into the editing mode. Now here are a few quick tricks to format the markdown cells really quickly and elegantly. To make a headline markdown cell like this, you can simply use £1, but keep at least a space between it to indicate that this is a headline. Use 2 hashtags to format a level 2 header. Use 3 hashtags for a level 3 header, and so on. To make a line or a portion of the texts italic, simply wrap them with a pair of asteroids like this, and they become italic. Or simply wrap around a portion of the text. Alternatively, you can use underscore to make that italic. To make a portion of the texts bold, wrap them around with double asteroid like this, and Control-Enter. To make a line of text appear as a note or a special note, simply begin the line with greater than symbol like this. The line changes color. After you run it, it will appear like this. So these are a few commonly used operations in Jupyter Notebook. I hope these will be useful for you to do your homework or practice hands-on for the first time. Last but not least, to safely exit the Jupyter Notebook, make sure you first save it. Instead of simply shutting off the tab, I always recommend that you do File, Close and Halt. This will properly check if the Jupyter Notebook is saved. If not, it will prompt for you to save it. If it's saved, it will close it, and it will close down the kernel that is monitoring that Jupyter Notebook so that everything is properly saved and closed. I hope this video has been helpful. See you next time.